Good day to you all, be it morning, evening, or afternoon. Welcome to another Sacred Pause. As a trained homeopath, when we were learning homeopathy, we were told, and it was part of the training, that we would learn from the patients that we saw. We might find patterns, such as every patient we saw in the week or the month had a similar illness. And one of the big things that we learnt was just learning about ourselves. We were encouraged to journal. Many of us journaled in different ways, but each of us journaled nonetheless. So tonight's meditation is going to be upon reflections and learnings, what we learn from life, from other people. So in your own time, just open sacred space. In your own way, however you want to do it, because whichever way you do it is right for you. Just take your attention to your breath. Open sacred space. Open your ears and open your hearts to learning, to being. And just allow yourself to simply be. There is an art to being. We're a human being, and very often we're doing all the time. Most people make very little time, if any, for reflection, for quiet time. Many people have the radio on or the television or both, and maybe computer games and the mobile phone on all the time. I'm very blessed. I'm sat in the lounge, and you may or may not be able to hear the traffic going past. And it is a quiet village where I am at the moment. You may or may not be able to hear the clock ticking. And that's it. Peace and quiet. So just take a moment to allow yourself to sink into the quiet of this moment, into the quiet within you. And I'll just give you a couple of moments, minutes, just to sink deeper into that nothingness, into that beingness. So, for me personally at this time, I have many friends who are caring for elderly mothers, elderly fathers who are very close to the end of their life. My friend Sharon is getting ready for the news anytime soon. And many other friends, far and wide, are in very similar circumstances. And just less than 2 weeks ago, I set up Come Home to Your Inner Heart, a private Facebook group, just to help people reflect and journal. And today I discussed death. And COVID and coronavirus are all playing on the fear of death. And yet at the same time, I met a very dear friend, and both of us felt Damien. Many of you know Damien was part of this group, and he did actually pass away with COVID. So what is death if we are still there? Maybe we may well be invisible unless someone can see us if they're psychic or clairvoyant. And for me as a child, I've always seen and heard spirits. For me as a child, I always knew where I was going when I passed over to the Golden Bridge or the Rainbow Bridge. But for me, even as a child, and for me personally, having had 2 near-death experiences, I have never feared death. And when we die, we do go into a beautiful white light, maybe down a tunnel, or just embraced in this beautiful white light of peace, tranquility. And having worked in Bali with Bapa Manku and the Hindu high priests, they embrace death. Many of the ancient cultures do. The Aztecs, the Incas. And the Native American Indians, of course. And I personally know that I've had many lives as a Native American Indian medicine woman, shaman. And what a joy and honour those lifetimes were. So just be aware when I say the word death. If your body reacts, maybe your heart starts pounding, maybe you're in tears. Peter has mentioned many times that we are often undoing conditioned patterns of belief systems and behaviours. Maybe somebody has literally put the fear of God or the fear of death into you through religion or peer pressure or social pressure. So let's just put all that to one side and just allow yourself to feel that word. What does it bring up for you? Maybe it inspires you to live more. Maybe it inspires you to do the things that you've always wanted to do, to ring that certain friend, to feel a peace and a grace, to finish a certain project, to plant a new tree. I remember when I have lost someone very, very dear to me, I sometimes have planted a tree or a shrub. Sometimes I've got some flowers and placed them on the water, as I did for Damien in Geneva. Some people get a wreath of flowers and place them on a canal or a river or the ocean. And how would you like your life to be celebrated when you go over the Rainbow Bridge? How do you want to be remembered? I always remember when my grandma passed, she said no one is to wear black at the funeral or purple. You wear brightly coloured things, because she did live a very happy life. And she was almost 99 when she passed over. And yes, I have felt her many, many times, as many people around me have felt her too. So, let's celebrate life. Let's celebrate living. And let's allow ourselves to think about peace in a very peaceful, beautiful, appropriate way. Because I promise you, there is no fear. I had a very serious kidney infection many years ago. And I'd passed out unconscious in the hospital when I was attached to a drip of morphine and an antibiotic drip. And during that time, the near-death experience, my granddad, who I absolutely adored, appeared to me. And as I was going down the white tunnel, he put out his hand and said, "You have to go back. You have work to do. Your work isn't finished yet." And although I wanted to embrace him so much, of course, I regained consciousness with a beautiful doctor called Thomas holding my hand. So here I am, maybe the queen of the rainbows, but yes, I have work to do. And I know many of you in this group have approached me privately for private sessions, and I am absolutely grateful. I'm happy to work with any of you. And I do feel that baby Sophia is at peace. She's exactly where she needs to be. That child is so full of love. So let's focus on love, let's focus on living, let's focus on smiling. Namaste to all of you. You are very, very special, beautiful people. Find your inner beauty and find it while you still breathe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.